Hey everybody, how about we do a little change of view today, huh? I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second here. Anyways, I'm gonna drive along. Still had a couple of ideas in my head. And I thought I would do one. You know, kind of think about the top 10 places that made me go wow. I don't know if I'll actually come up with 10. I might do less, I might do more. Just depends on what comes to mind here. Right now we're on I-5 heading south towards San Diego. I'm gonna go pick up my load, the load that'll take me home. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for hours to get that load there, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. But top 10 places that made me say wow since I started driving. Oh, and this is in no particular order either. I mean, you know, I don't have a ranking system or anything like that. It's just places that I've seen that have made me go wow. I would say the first one that I would put on that list would be New York City. You know, I come from a small town. The population of my town can fit in one apartment building in New York. So, like, the first time that I went in there, I had to go in there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was heading down to Hunts Point. Down in the Bronx. There we go. There's a view of the ocean out there. You kind of can't see it, but I'm gonna stop at the rest area up here. I have to clean out the trailer. But yeah, the first time I went into New York City, you know, during training, you're supposed to go to New York once, but they don't specify New York City. They just say you gotta go up to New York. So, like, when I went in for training, we went to a place that's off of 87, so we didn't really technically go into the city. So the first time that I hit it up, went through the toll booth, started crossing the George Washington. You know, the sight of seeing this the city that was all lit up, going all the way down one side, all the way down the other side. I mean, just so many buildings. And, you know, somebody who's not used to seeing something that big, that just blew my mind away. And you know, the funny thing is that when you go in really early in the morning, going through like midnight, there's actually not a lot of traffic. So, you know, we were doing the speed limit the whole time. Move over. So you go into the city, buildings start just buzzing by you like crazy. There's the ocean again. You know, you're looking at buildings that are higher than you. You're looking at rooftops. All of a sudden, you go through a tunnel, and you sit there and think for a second. You're like, did I just go under a building? Yes, you go under a building in New York. It's really cool to look at. I like that. Yeah, that was you know, the first couple times going in was really exciting. It was awesome. It was incredible. After about a dozen times, as a truck driver, not so much fun. But I mean, still, there's there's always that first time. I mean, that was just absolutely mind-blowing. You know, to get to see something on that scale. The only thing that I haven't seen in New York City yet is the Statue of Liberty, because you can't see her from the George Washington. And closest point that I could think of that would have been Brooklyn, but I was still like a couple miles away from the coastline, so it's not like I would see her just pointing up somewhere. So, let's see, second place. There's a route that I really like to take. A lot of times, if I'm lucky, it's, you know, when I come back from home time, I get this route, which is basically going from somewhere in the Northwest down to Laredo. And the reason why I like this route so much is because of what you see on the way there. Because what happens is that you go down through Salt Lake City, and you get off and go through the Spanish Fork, and there's some really cool sights to see in there. I mean, you know, first of all, it's just regular mountains, pine trees, and stuff like that. There's a rest area that's got it's got like a train set up at it. It's got like a little history thing about how important the Spanish Fork was for the railroad. Should pull over here. Go visit the state beach. But once you get past that, you go climbing all the way up this hill. You get up to the top of this hill, and all of a sudden you go into this like really sharp canyon. The canyon's really cool. You know, it's like yellow sandstone walls, stuff like that. And then you get to the very bottom of that, and you end up in that huge kind of bowl area where somebody goes through, where Green River is located at. And you see the big giant bluffs. Well, once you're done with that, you end up on 491. You start heading south on that, and you end up through Moab. So you're looking at like red sandstone canyon walls. And you know, you like driving through that area, and you're seeing all those like rock formations that people take pictures of and print inspirational quotes over. And then once you get through all that, you go through Colorado really quick, but there's really not much there. And then you head into New Mexico to Shiprock. And like every postcard that you've ever seen of New Mexico, chances are it was a picture taken up by Shiprock, because it has like the big rock formations again, you know, just big pillars of rock out there in the desert. You know, and to me personally, that is like the most scenic route in the entire U.S. That is my favorite route. That's the one that I love going down the most, because you know it's like your scenery just so radically changes from one point to another to another to another. So we're going to number 3. We'll probably do number 3 and number 4 at the same time, because it's kind of the same area. No, 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 not really. They're in different states. Number 3 would probably have to be down in Mobile, Alabama. And you know, it's really fascinating going up the freeway there. I believe that's 10. You know, you drive along, you start coming into the city. You do like a oh, we got a scale here. You kind of go around a curve, and then all of a sudden you dive into a tunnel. A tunnel goes under the harbor. What really makes it fascinating, though, is that when you come back out, green light, and look to your right, there's the USS Alabama, just more in the bay there. You know, first time I was driving along and I looked over and I'm just like, what the hell, is that a battleship? Is there a battleship right there? I mean, it's crazy. And there's parking for that one too. There is truck parking to go to the museum there. So one of these days I'm gonna have to see if I can get down there, and hopefully I could do a video of that. That'd be really cool. That'd be awesome. The other one, the one that I'm thinking of, I believe for number 4, I believe it's in Louisiana. I keep forgetting where it's at all the time. All the freaking time. I forget where it was at. What happened to him? Catch fire inside of the DOT station? But what I'm talking about is the 18-mile bridge, and I believe I got a video of that from earlier. You know, from what I'm told, it's the longest land bridge in the U.S. 18 miles, and you know, you're just going over the wetlands, and it's always so fascinating to drive across that thing. I find myself a lot of times like looking over the edge, you know, because my trainer at the time told me that sometimes you can catch sight of a gator. I've only ever seen one gator ever, and that was at the Pilot in Florida in Haines City. However, the last time I went there, his little pond area is like all overgrown, and he didn't show up. Probably can't get to me now. You know, that gator that I'm talking about was just a little guy. He's only like 3 feet, something like that. But it's kind of cool because if you go to like a certain spot in the back of the lot, rest area 5 miles. Might just stop at the viewpoint area. But if you go into that Pilot and go to a certain corner and just sit there and wait, I don't know how he knows that somebody's there, but he does. And you know, if you sit there and wait, he eventually comes around the corner, sits there at the edge, and just stares at you. Just really fascinating sight. But yeah, we'll say 4 is the 18-mile bridge. Really fascinating place to see. What can we do for 5? I think 5, we'll say there's a spot up in Montana. I can't even remember the freeway. It might be 95 for all I know. But there's a spot where you climb up this hill. When you get to the hill, you look back out, you just see this like huge green valley that you just came out of. It's, you know, and the shot is like one of those like shots of like what you would see on a on like a painting or something like that. Yeah, see, I don't think there's actually truck parking here. If I were to go in there, I would probably end up getting stuck. Yeah, that's a really tight corner. I don't think I would handle that switchback very well. What was that? Number 5? Number 6. I guess I could probably say for the pilot with the Gator, since I've already explained them. When the first time that I went down to Florida, I saw that the tourist place, they were advertising that they have live gators and stuff. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. I really want to go see one. So I go there, and let me tell you, I was disappointed. Oh my God, I was so disappointed with that. The place itself was just your standard tourist trap. They had all of the usual, state-sponsored gimmicks that you could buy, keychains, shot glasses, hats, and stuff like that. And when I finally found the gators, they were back in the back. They were in like a, I think it was maybe like a 50-gallon tank, something like that. Probably not even that big. It was a really small tank, and there was 3 of them. They were just baby gators, and they were all just crammed in there. They couldn't do anything. They were all just sitting there, and I was like, wow, this is seriously, it was just a letdown. It was a massive letdown. So seeing that wild one was actually really cool. He was still in a fenced-in area, but he was wild. I would like to see an even bigger one than him, but I guess all within due time, right? Number 7. If you were to stay on 70 and go to Denver, I guess there's actually two spots that I could talk about on 70. There's one on the Utah side, which is Devil's Canyon. That was really fascinating. That the whole area is like whatchamacallit, like kind of alien almost. It's a totally different area. I think this is my rest area right here, isn't it? I'm not going to stay here for very long. I just need to clean out that trailer. You guys will probably come join me for that. But you get to Devil's Canyon and it's like that's a good spot. Don't argue with me. I think I'll probably want to park like that. My tires are kind of over the line, but...
Home. Messaging. You have 3 hours and 9 minutes of remaining drive time.
We'll sit there for a second. But yeah, again, you know, it's kind of like the yellow sandstone in a sense. I would say maybe more tan. But it's just the fact that like the whole landscape is just like really rugged. You know, just a lot of going on. You know, just like a lot of rocks sticking up everywhere. You got canyons all over the place. You know, I mean, there's so much to see up there. There's a lot of like rest area viewpoints, and it's like each one you go to has something different to look at. Now, if you keep going down 70, I do believe it's before you start to climb on the Vale. There's a little town that you pass through, but you end up going through I don't really want to say canyon again. I guess valley. Very you know, it's at the bottom between two like really high mountains. It's a 55 zone. A lot of tight corners and stuff. Trucks are restricted to right lane, but as you're like cruising through there, you know, I mean, it's just really cool to lean forward and look up, you know, and just see how high those mountains are. I think that might be number 8. Not sure, but yeah, that's really a sight to see there. Oh, what else do we got? What else do we got? Salt Flats. Salt Flats just west of Salt Lake City. That would make a good number 9, especially when there's like water on them, because that water is crystal clear, right? So you're driving down and you see the mountains in the distance, and if there's water on the Salt Flats, you have like a perfect mirror image of those mountains. It's kind of sad that people keep ruining the like immediate area. People have this obsession with driving their car out onto the Salt Flats. They have this massive obsession with doing that. I mean, you know, there's a rest area just a couple miles from the Nevada border, and a lot of times when you're going by, I mean, you see cars out there like a quarter mile, and you know, there was some there's one of those little like models for one of the different web groups out there, Instagram model. You know, she's out there posing next to her car or something like that, or they're just standing out there posing on the Salt Flat. They got the poor boyfriend stuck there taking 50 billion pictures of him, of her, you know. But they do that all the time. They take vehicles all day. I can't do it with the truck, because sometimes you'll see tracks go out like a little ways, and all of a sudden they just sink in. And it's like, well, it looks like a truck might have tried to go out there. Found out there's a weight limit on the Salt Flats. Yeah, that's always been a really fascinating place. Um, I guess one of the things I could probably talk about is, before I had gotten into trucking, I had never really been out east. I think the furthest east that I'd ever traveled on my own was to Ohio. And so once I got past that point and ended up in the east, I was surprised by like how green everything was all the time. I mean, you look around, you see all brown. This is what I'm used to looking at all the time. And so you go out and just see all this green, especially in places like Georgia and stuff like that, where you got trees growing, and then there's like moss growing on top of that, and there's leaves coming out of that. You put in a telephone pole with the telephone line going into the ground, there's like a moss vine growing up that thing. It's like everything is green, everything is just overgrown with green. And a big difference between that is there's a lot more rivers on that side of the country as opposed to what we have. And so yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. When people talk about like New York City, we've always a picture that it's just like a big city with a lot of buildings and stuff like that. But when you head into New York from like 80 or something like that, you're looking at a huge forest, massive forest. Well, in any case, yeah, that's like a top 10. I might do like a top 10 places that I didn't really want to be. And we'll probably save that for tomorrow's trip. But I think for the time being, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna go clean my trailer really quick. I'm gonna try to get a picture of that sunset. That'd be a good picture to have. So I will talk to you guys later.